The bass from the speakers rattles through my chest as I wipe down the sticky bar top for what feels like the 100th time tonight. Each pass of my cloth reveals another layer of residue, cocktail rings, lipstick marks, the ghost of 100 transactions. The smell of spilled beer and expensive perfume clings to everything in this place. A heady mix that somehow defines Apex, Miami's hottest nightclub. My feet are screaming in these heels. The black stilettos Marco insists we wear are designed for looking good, not for 10-hour shifts on concrete floors. 6 hours in, and I've got another 4 to go. I can already feel tomorrow's pain radiating up my calves. 26 years old with a bartending certification and dreams that died about 2 years ago. That's me. Sage Mitchell, professional drink mixer, an expert at smiling through exhaustion while men twice my age look through me like I'm part of the furniture. 2 years ago, I had a real job. A career, actually. I worked at an art gallery in Wynwood, helping curate exhibitions. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Meeting artists whose work made my heart race, feeling like I was part of something that mattered. I'd spend hours researching provenance, analyzing composition, writing catalog descriptions that brought pieces to life. Then the gallery closed when funding dried up. The owner, Patricia, moved to New York with tears in her eyes and promises to reconnect that never materialized. And suddenly my art history degree, 4 years and $60,000 in student loans, was worth about as much as the paper it was printed on. Sage, Table 7 needs bottle service. Marco shouts over the music, his voice cutting through the bass like a knife. And try to smile more. You look miserable. I bite back the response burning on my tongue. Maybe I look miserable because I am miserable. But Marco doesn't care about my emotional state. He cares about tips, about keeping the high rollers happy, about maintaining Apex's reputation as the place where money flows as freely as champagne. I grab the bottle, a $2,000 vintage that costs more than my monthly rent, and navigate through the crowd. Bodies pressed together on the dance floor, a writhing mass of designer dresses and expensive cologne. The air is thick with heat and possibility, and the kind of reckless energy that only comes at 2 a.m. when inhibitions have drowned in top-shelf liquor. That's when I spot Mara near the back corner, my best friend since high school, the person who got me this job when I was 3 weeks from eviction and running out of options. She's serving drinks to a group of men in suits at one of the premier tables, but something's wrong. I can tell by the way her shoulders are hunched forward, by the forced quality of her smile, by the slight tremor in her hands as she sets down glasses. I know Mara's body language better than my own. We've been through everything together: high school drama, college parties, her mother's death from a sudden heart attack our sophomore year. I held her while she sobbed for 3 days straight. She did the same for me when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. That kind of bond doesn't break. I alter my path, moving closer. My bartender instincts honed through 2 years of reading trouble before it explodes, screaming that she needs backup. That's when I hear his voice. Low, controlled, dangerous. You don't really have a choice here, sweetheart. The man speaking has his back to me, but I can see his reflection in the mirrored wall behind the booth. Dark hair styled with precision, expensive suit that probably costs more than my car, the kind of presence that makes everyone around him seem smaller, less significant. The debt needs to be paid, one way or another. Mara's face has gone pale, all the blood draining away until she looks like a ghost. I don't know what you're talking about. Please, I haven't seen Tyler in over a month. He disappeared. Your boyfriend borrowed money from me. The man's voice is eerily calm, each word measured and precise. A significant amount of money. When men borrow from me, they pay. When they disappear. He pauses, letting the implication hang in the air like smoke. Someone else pays for them. My blood turns to ice water in my veins. I know who this is. Everyone who works at Apex knows the name, even if most of us have never seen his face. Dante Moretti, 34 years old and the most powerful man in Miami's underworld. Drugs, gambling, money laundering, protection rackets, all wrapped up in legitimate businesses that give him perfect cover. He owns half the city, including, rumor has it, a significant stake in the nightclub where I'm currently standing. The kind of man whose name you whisper, not speak. The kind of man who makes problems disappear without ever raising his voice. And he's threatening my best friend. I can try to get some money, Mara stammers, her voice breaking on the last word. By, at the end of the month, maybe. I just need time. Please, I'll figure something out. Time isn't what I'm offering. Moretti reaches out with deliberate slowness, and catches her wrist as she tries to step back. His grip looks casual from a distance, but I can see Mara wince, can see the way her breath catches. But I'm sure we can find another arrangement. A pretty girl like you has other ways to repay debt. I know several gentlemen who would pay handsomely for your company. Something inside me snaps, not breaks, snaps, like a rubber band pulled too tight, released with violent force. Maybe it's exhaustion from working 70-hour weeks just to stay afloat. Maybe it's anger at every man who's ever treated women like property, like objects to be bought and sold and used. Maybe it's the memory of Mara letting me sleep on her couch for 2 months when I lost my apartment, of her splitting her tips with me when I couldn't make rent, of every time she's been there when I needed her. No questions asked. Or maybe I'm just tired of watching powerful men think they own the world and everyone in it. I set my tray down and walk toward them, adrenaline making my vision sharpen to crystal clarity. Let her go. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. Moretti doesn't turn around. One of his men moves toward me, but Moretti raises his hand, stopping him with just a gesture. This doesn't concern you, bartender. You're threatening my friend, so yeah, it concerns me. My hands are shaking, so I ball them into fists. Let go of her. Now. He finally turns, and I feel the air leave my lungs. His face is all sharp angles and perfect symmetry, dark eyes that seem to see straight through you. There's a small scar cutting through his left eyebrow. He's beautiful in the way a blade is beautiful, lethal and mesmerizing. Your friend's boyfriend owes me $200,000, he says, his voice dropping to that low register I feel in my spine. That debt doesn't disappear, because she bats her eyes and says please. She doesn't owe you anything, I say, cutting Mara off. If you have a problem with Tyler, take it up with him. Leave her alone. Debts transfer. She vouched for him. That makes her responsible. That's not how the real world works. That's how predators work. The air around us seems to freeze. His men tense, hands moving toward concealed weapons. Moretti goes completely still, his eyes darkening as they fix on me. I think you should apologize to Mr. Moretti, one of his men says quietly. Moretti raises a hand, silencing him. No, let her speak. I'm curious what else she has to say. She works here because she needs to survive, not to be harassed by men who think money buys them ownership of people. You want your money back? Fine, Tyler. But leave Mara alone. Moretti stands, and he's taller than I realized, his presence filling the space between us until it's hard to breathe. His cologne surrounds me as he steps closer. You have no practice consider of the ways in then. Good idea who you're talking to. I know exactly who you are, and I don't care. It happens fast. He reaches for Mara's wrist again, and something in me breaks free. My palm connects with his cheek before I fully register the decision to move. The crack of skin against skin is lost in the music, but I feel the impact vibrate up my arm. A red mark blooms instantly on his olive skin. Time stops. His bodyguards surge forward, but Moretti holds them back with a gesture, his eyes never leaving mine. And then, to my absolute horror, the corner of his mouth curves upward into a slow, dangerous smile. Finally, he says, his voice a low caress. A woman with fire. My stomach drops. This isn't the reaction I expected. Leave us, Moretti commands his men. Now. He releases Mara's wrist and rubs his jaw where my hand connected. What's your name? I swallow hard. None of your business. Sage, isn't it? That's what your friend called you. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a business card. Here's what's going to happen. Your friend's debt is now yours to resolve. What? You heard me. Call this number tomorrow at noon. We'll discuss terms. I'm not calling you. He steps closer, so close I can see flecks of amber in his dark eyes. Yes, you are. Because if you don't, I'll come back for your friend. And trust me, Sage, you don't want that. The way he says my name makes heat coil unwanted in my stomach. I take the card reflexively. This isn't over, I warn. No, he agrees. It's just beginning. Don't even think about running. I will find you. He walks away, leaving me trembling. Mara grabs my hand, her fingers ice cold. You shouldn't have done that. Do you know who he is? I nod numbly. Marco appears, his face tight with rage. Do you have any idea who you just slapped? That man can make people disappear with a phone call. The rest of my shift passes in a blur of fear. By closing time, my nerves are shredded. Mara and I walk to my car, jumping at shadows. Stay with me tonight, I offer. Nowhere's safe from a man like Dante Moretti, Mara says, but she nods. We drive to my tiny studio apartment. Inside, the space feels even smaller than usual. One room serving as bedroom, living room, and office. You should run, Mara says. In the morning, just pack a bag and go. But we both know I'm not running. Sleep doesn't come. I lie awake in my bed, listening to Mara's restless movements on the couch, replaying the moment my hand connected with Moretti's face. The shock of it, the strange thrill that coursed through me before fear took over. The way my palm stung for hours afterward, a physical reminder of what I'd done. And worse, the way his eyes lit up when I hit him, like I'd done exactly what he wanted. Like I'd passed some test I didn't know I was taking. Like I'd given him exactly the excuse he needed to become interested in me. Finally, a real woman with fire. What does that even mean? What did I trigger in that moment? And why does part of me, a part I don't want to acknowledge, feel a dangerous thrill at the memory of his reaction? I must doze off eventually because I wake to harsh sunlight streaming through my thin curtains. My phone shows 6:30 in the morning. 4 hours of sleep, maybe less. Mara is already awake, making coffee in my tiny kitchen when I emerge from the bedroom area. She looks worse than I feel dark circles under her eyes, hair disheveled, still wearing yesterday's club uniform. I've been thinking, she says, not looking at me as she pours, her hands trembling slightly as she holds the pot. Maybe we can get the money. Between our savings, if we sell some things, maybe borrow from family. My sister might be able to loan us something. And your parents, $200,000, Mara. I interrupt her gently, taking the coffee she offers. It's too strong, bitter on my tongue, but I drink it anyway. We'd need years to save that much, decades probably. Your sister makes $40,000 a year as a teacher. My parents are retired on a fixed income. There's no one we know who has that kind of money just sitting around. She sets down her mug with a sharp click, defeated. The sound echoes in my small apartment. Then what do we do? Tyler's gone. He's not coming back to fix this. And I can't. I won't let you sacrifice yourself for his mess. What choice do we have? I echo what she said last night, the words tasting like ash. I pull out the business card, staring at the embossed number. Heavy cardstock, expensive, with just a phone number. No name, no company. Anonymous and threatening in its simplicity. The kind of card a man carries when he doesn't need to advertise who he is because everyone already knows. My phone shows 11:45. 15 minutes until noon. 15 minutes until everything changes. Until I step into a world I don't understand and can't control. You don't have to call, Mara says, but her voice lacks conviction. We both. I know that's not true. I dial before I lose my nerve, my heart pounding so hard I can barely hear the ringing over the rush of blood in my ears. My finger hovers over the end call button for 3 rings. Then he answers. He answers on the first ring, like he's been waiting, like he knew exactly when I would call. Miss Mitchell. His voice slides through the phone like silk over skin, and I hate that I recognize it instantly, that it makes something in my stomach tighten. Not a question. He knew exactly who would be calling, knew I couldn't ignore his summons. Punctual. I appreciate that in a woman. It speaks to character, to respect for other people's time. How do you know my full name? I demand, gripping the phone tighter, my knuckles going white. I know many things about you, Sage Elizabeth Mitchell. Each word is deliberate, possessive, tasting my name like something rare and valuable. 26 years old. Art history degree from University of Miami, graduated. Summa cum laude in 2021. Parents Richard and Susan Mitchell, living in Charlotte, North Carolina. Father retired from insurance sales. Mother a former elementary school teacher. No siblings. Best friend Mara Chen, who made the unfortunate choice of dating Tyler Reeves. Currently working as a bartender at Apex, making approximately $30,000 a year including tips. But you used to work at the Wynwood Gallery before it closed 2 years ago. You were good at your job. Patricia Chen, no relation to your friend, thought highly of your expertise in contemporary photography. Each detail lands like a blow, stripping away any illusion of privacy or safety. He researched me, thoroughly, meticulously. In less than 12 hours, he learned my entire life story, my financial situation, my family connections. He probably knows my credit score, my social security number, where I went to high school. I can feel the walls of my tiny apartment closing in. What do you want? Have dinner with me tonight, 8 o'clock. A car will pick you up. I'm not having dinner with you. Yes, you are. The alternative is that I collect Mara's debt in a much less pleasant way. Your choice, Sage. My hand clenches into a fist. You're blackmailing me into a date. I'm offering you an opportunity to negotiate terms. Wear something nice. The line goes dead. The day crawls by. By 6 o'clock, I'm staring at my closet. I settle on a simple black dress. Professional enough to send the message that this is business, not a date. At 7:45, my phone buzzes. Car arriving in 5 minutes. 3 minutes later, a sleek black Mercedes pulls up. A man built like a tank steps out. My doorbell rings. I open it to find him standing with professional courtesy. Miss Mitchell, I'm Vincent. Mr. Moretti sent me to escort you. The drive takes us toward the exclusive waterfront properties of Star Island. We pass through a guarded gate, then wind down a private drive. The house appears at the end of the drive, and I have to actively work to keep my jaw from dropping. Calling it a house feels inadequate. It's a modern masterpiece of glass and stone. All clean lines and dramatic angles, overlooking Biscayne Bay. The architecture is stunning, floor-to-ceiling windows that offer panoramic views, geometric shapes that work together perfectly. Lights glow from within, warm against the evening sky. This is where Dante Moretti lives. This is where I'm about to negotiate my freedom. Vincent opens my door, and I step out onto perfectly maintained grounds. The air smells of salt from the bay, mixed with jasmine. 2 more security guards stand at the entrance, their eyes tracking me with professional assessment. This way, Miss Mitchell, Vincent says, leading me inside with courteous efficiency. The interior is breathtaking in a way that makes my art history degree suddenly feel relevant. This isn't new money throwing wealth around. This is old taste with new money to back it up. Minimalist design with museum-quality art on the walls. I spot what might be a Rothko, a possible Basquiat. Floor-to-ceiling windows offering panoramic views of the illuminated Miami skyline across the water. Everything is perfectly curated, speaking of wealth but also genuine taste and intelligence. Vincent leads me through the main hall. Past rooms I only glimpse a library with walls of books. A sitting room with furniture that probably costs more than my car. We move through French doors onto a terrace that wraps around the back of the house. And there he is. Dante Moretti stands at the railing, his back to me, looking out over the water. The setting sun paints the sky in shades of orange and pink, turning Biscayne Bay into liquid gold. He wears dark slacks and a white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled to the elbows, revealing forearms corded with muscle. The casual posture does nothing to diminish his commanding presence. Even from behind, he dominates the space. Sir, Miss Mitchell has arrived. Thank you, Vincent. That will be all. Vincent nods and withdraws, leaving me alone with the most dangerous man in Miami. The sound of the door closing feels like a point of no return being crossed. Moretti finally turns, and the full force of his attention hits me. In the fading sunlight, he's even more striking than in the dim nightclub. His dark eyes assess me in one swift, comprehensive glance that makes me feel both seen and exposed, like he's cataloging everything: my nervous posture, my clothing choice, the way I'm gripping my purse. Sage, he says, and my name in his mouth sounds intimate, possessive. Thank you for coming. I hope the drive was comfortable. Did I have a choice? The question comes out more defiant than wise. His mouth curves in that unsettling half-smile. Everyone has choices, Miss Mitchell. You made yours when you stepped into that car. You could have run. Could have gone to the police, futile as that would be. Could have left your friend to her fate. But you didn't. You chose to come here, to face this situation. That speaks to character. He gestures to a table set for 2, and I notice how perfect everything is. White linens, crystal wine glasses catching the dying light, candles already lit, their flames dancing in the breeze, fresh flowers, orchids arranged with casual elegance. This isn't a business meeting. This is a seduction. Please, he says, moving to pull out a chair for me with old-world courtesy. Sit. Dinner will be served shortly. I sit, hyper-aware of his eyes on me. Your home is isolated, I say. I value my privacy, especially when getting to know someone new. Is that what we're doing? That's exactly what we're doing. Tell me about yourself, Sage. You already seem to know everything. Surface details. Anyone can learn those with the right resources. I want to know who you really are. Some might call that stalking. That earns me a genuine smile. Most people wouldn't say that to my face. I'm not most people. No, he agrees, his eyes darkening. You're not. That became abundantly clear last night when you slapped me. A staff member appears, serving seared scallops before disappearing. Why am I here? What do you really want? Moretti sets down his wine glass. Directness. I appreciate that. I want to offer you a proposition. I'm not interested in being one of your acquisitions. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. You misunderstand. This is about business and your friend's debt. He slides a folder across the table. Open it. Inside are photos of Tyler meeting with men I don't recognize. The final photo shows Tyler boarding a plane to Mexico. Your friend's boyfriend didn't just borrow money from me. He sold information, names of my associates, details about certain operations. He thought he could take my money, sell my secrets to my competitors, and disappear. I stare at the photos, my mind racing. The money is irrelevant, he continues. What matters is the principle. No, one steals from me and walks away. She had nothing to do with this. Perhaps not. But she brought him into my circle. However, I'm willing to consider an alternative arrangement. I swallow hard. What kind of arrangement? You have a degree in art history. You worked at a gallery. I have a position that needs filling. Someone with your skills. My previous art acquisitions consultant recently departed. You want me to work for you? For 6 months. During which time, your friend's debt will be considered paid in full. After that, you're free to go, with a recommendation that will open doors at any gallery you choose. It sounds almost reasonable, almost legitimate. And if I refuse, then Mara Chen will be responsible for Tyler's full debt, both financial and otherwise. I set down my fork. What would this job entail exactly? You would move into the guest house on this property. You'll have access to my collection, resources for research. Your primary duties involve cataloging existing pieces, researching potential purchases, and occasionally accompanying me to gallery events. You want me to live here. For 6 months. It ensures you're available when needed, and it ensures your safety. Safety from what? His expression darkens. Tyler didn't just betray me. He sold information to the Volkov organization. Russians, who've been trying to move into my territory. They'll be looking for leverage against me. Anyone connected to Tyler is potentially at risk. So this isn't just about Mara's debt. I want to keep you alive. There's a difference. I stare at him. What guarantee do I have that after 6 months, you'll actually let me go? My word, I scoff. The word of a criminal. I have never broken my word, Sage. Not once. Why me? You could hire anyone with my qualifications. Because you showed me something rare. Courage. Loyalty. Fire. The way he says that last word makes heat curl in my stomach. Most people in this city avoid eye contact when I enter a room, but you looked me in the eye and slapped me across the face. Do you have any idea how refreshing that is? 6 months, I say finally. Then Mara's debt is cleared completely. No contact after. Agreed. With one amendment. During those 6 months, you belong exclusively to me. No outside relationships. No contact with anyone except Mara, who can call weekly. Your focus remains here. I'm not agreeing to be your prisoner. Not a prisoner. An employee with specific terms. You'll be well compensated. $75,000 upon completion, in addition to monthly salary. The amount makes me pause. That would change my life. When would this begin? Tonight, the guest house is prepared. Your belongings will be collected tomorrow. I need time to think. You have until we finish dinner. I stare at him. There's something in his eyes when he looks at me. Something possessive and hungry. Why the rush? He leans forward. Because Tyler Reeves was found in Cabo San Lucas this afternoon. By tomorrow morning, news of his unfortunate accident will reach Miami. I need my new art consultant in place before anyone starts asking questions. My blood turns to ice. What did you do to him? Nothing he didn't bring on himself. The real question is, what will you do, Sage? Save yourself and your friend? Or condemn Mara to face the consequences? No choice at all. I'll do it. 6 months. Then we're done. Something flickers in his eyes. Triumph. Satisfaction. Excellent decision. He raises his wine glass. To new beginnings. I raise mine. I raise mine. To surviving them. I think we're going to get along very well, Sage. The rest of dinner passes in forced conversation. When it concludes, he stands. Come, I'll show you to the guest house. We walk through tropical gardens to a smaller building surrounded by jasmine. The code for the door is your birthday, he says. Security is throughout the property, but you're free to move around the grounds. Vincent will escort you if you need to leave. So I am a prisoner. He turns to face me. You're under my protection. There's a difference. He opens the door. The interior takes my breath away. Modern luxury with warm touches that make it feel like a home rather than a prison. Tomorrow we'll have proper measurements taken. You'll need appropriate clothing for gallery events. You've thought of everything. I'm thorough. He moves toward the door, then pauses. Sage, I know this isn't what you wanted, but I promise you, I will keep you safe. And I will honor our agreement. Why should I believe you? Because despite what you think of me, I'm a man of my word. 6 months. Then you're free to go. He leaves, and I stand alone in the beautiful guest house that feels like a gilded cage. I pull out my phone and call Mara. The debt is settled. You're safe. What did you agree to? I explain the arrangement. She's horrified, but I reassure her that it's just 6 months, just a job. But as I hang up and prepare for bed, I can't shake the feeling that I've just set something in motion that I don't fully understand. Morning arrives with sunlight streaming through windows I forgot to cover. At exactly 7, Vincent knocks. Good morning, Miss Mitchell. Mr. Moretti is waiting for you in his study. I follow him across the grounds. The main house is quieter during the day. Vincent leads me to a study on the 2nd floor. Moretti stands at the window, phone to his ear, speaking in rapid Italian. Morning light catches in his dark hair. He gestures for me to sit, continuing his conversation. I examine the photographs on the wall. Black and white images, a young girl with dark eyes and a bright smile. My grandmother, Moretti says, ending his call. Taken in Naples in 1946. She was 14. It's beautiful. The composition, the way the light catches her expression. She survived the war by being smart and fierce and unwilling to submit. He moves closer. She taught me that survival sometimes requires doing things others consider unforgivable. Coffee? He asks, moving to an espresso machine. Please. He prepares 2 cups. How did you sleep? Well enough, considering. Good. Today will be intensive. He pulls out a tablet. My collection includes over 200 pieces. Most are in the main house, but I have several in secure storage that require cataloging. I take the tablet, scrolling through images. My breath catches. Is this an original Caravaggio? The Penitent Magdalene, acquired 3 years ago. I continue scrolling. A Modigliani, several old masters. Modern works by artists whose pieces sell for millions. This collection is worth approximately $270 million. Though value is subjective, I don't collect for investment. I collect because these pieces speak to something fundamental about human experience. I look up, surprised. Most collectors in your position would focus on status symbols. I'm not most collectors. I want you to understand something. I wanted someone who sees what I see, who understands that art isn't about price tags. It's about connection, about capturing moments of truth in a world full of lies. The sincerity in his voice catches me off guard. Why art? With everything else you do, why dedicate so much to collecting? He's quiet. My grandfather was a museum curator in Naples. He taught me to see beyond the surface. He died when I was 12, but he gave me something that nothing else in my life has provided. Beauty, truth, something pure. The vulnerability makes my chest tighten. This doesn't fit the image of a ruthless criminal. I'll need access to provenance documents for everything. You'll have full access. Sophia, my executive assistant, will provide credentials. The next hour passes as he walks me through his home, discussing each piece with genuine passion. He knows the history of everything. A woman enters, mid-30s, impeccably dressed. Mr. Moretti, your 9 o'clock is here. Thank you, Sophia. This is Sage Mitchell, my new art consultant. Sophia's eyes flick to me. Welcome, Miss Mitchell. I follow Sophia to an archive room. She demonstrates the system, her explanations thorough. Mr. Moretti values competence and discretion above all else. Don't ask questions about aspects of his business unrelated to your work. And remember that everything you see and hear while you're here is strictly confidential. I spend hours reviewing files. The documentation is impeccable. At noon, Sophia escorts me back to Moretti's study. Your initial assessment? The collection is extraordinary. But there are gaps. Several pieces lack updated condition reports. And your photography collection could be expanded significantly. He leans back. Recommendations? I name conservation assessments and authentication updates. I suggest 3 photographers whose work would complement his collection. Research them. If you find pieces that fit, We'll discuss acquisition. Budget isn't a concern. There's a gallery opening tomorrow night in Wynwood. You'll accompany me. To a gallery opening? You're my art consultant. Part of your role is attending events. He pauses. And appearing publicly as part of my life. The implication is clear. A stylist will visit the guest house at 4 this afternoon. The afternoon passes quickly. The stylist arrives with racks of designer clothing. Dinner is served on the terrace. This time feels different. Less interrogation, more conversation. We discuss art movements, debate contemporary versus classical works. What made you pursue art history? He asks. My mother. She worked as a secretary, but on weekends, she'd take me to museums. Even when money was tight, she made sure I understood that beauty wasn't just for the wealthy. She sounds like a remarkable woman. She was. The past tense slips out. She died 4 years ago. Cancer. I'm sorry. Losing a parent changes everything. The way he says it suggests personal experience. Your parents? Both gone. My father when I was 18. My mother 2 years later. Different circumstances, but the loss is the same. We sit in silence, connected by shared grief. By the time I return to the guest house, my head is spinning with contradictions. Dante Moretti is a criminal, but he's also intelligent, cultured, surprisingly vulnerable when discussing art and loss. I lie in bed and wonder which version of him is real, or if maybe both are. The gallery opening is everything I remember, and nothing like it. We arrive in Moretti's Mercedes, security following in a second vehicle. The gallery is packed with Miami's art elite. Conversations shift as we enter. Moretti's hand finds the small of my back. Dante, a woman approaches. I didn't know you were coming. Patricia, allow me to introduce Sage Mitchell, my new art consultant. Patricia's eyes sharpen. Mitchell, you worked at Wynwood Gallery, didn't you? Excellent eye for emerging artists. You've chosen well, Dante. We move through the crowd, Moretti introducing me to gallery owners, collectors, artists. His hand never leaves my back. That piece, I murmur, nodding toward an abstract canvas. The use of light and shadow, it's exactly what your collection needs. Moretti studies it. You're right. Arrange a meeting with the artist. It's exhilarating, working with art again. For a few hours, I almost forget the circumstances. Then a man approaches. Moretti, I didn't expect to see you here. The temperature drops. Moretti's hand tightens. Volkov, I could say the same. The name hits me like cold water, the Russian trying to move into his territory. And who is this? Volkov's eyes rake over me. New companion? Art consultant. Moretti corrects. Sage Mitchell. Unusual for you to bring business associates to social events, Dante. Miss Mitchell is unusually talented. After Volkov moves away, Moretti links our fingers. We're leaving. The drive back is tense. Moretti stares out the window, jaw tight. That was him, the one you warned me about. Yes, now he knows you're under my protection. You used me as bait. I brought you there to keep you safe. Volkov needed to see that you're not someone he can use against me. We arrive, and I storm toward the guest house. Moretti follows. You don't get to manipulate me without full disclosure. You're right, I should have been more explicit. The admission surprises me. Volkov is dangerous. If he thought you were weak, unprotected, he'd use you without hesitation. And tomorrow, when your power plays escalate, then I escalate my protection. His hand finds my face. You need to understand something. When I said I'd keep you safe, I meant it. You can't control everything. No, but I have significant motivation to ensure nothing happens to you. Why does it matter so much? He's quiet, his hand still cupping my face. Because you're the first real thing I've had in my life in longer than I care to admit, and I protect what's mine. I'm not yours. Not yet. But we have 6 months, Sage. That's a long time to maintain distance. He walks away, leaving me standing alone, my face tingling from his touch, my certainty crumbling. 3 weeks pass in a strange rhythm. Days filled with art research, cataloging, attending events, always at Moretti's side. His presence constant and increasingly difficult to ignore. The attraction becomes harder to deny. The way my heart races when he enters a room. The heat that coils through me when his hand lingers. It's late afternoon when everything changes. I'm in the archive when Sophia bursts in. You need to come with me, now. There's been an incident. Fear spikes through me. What kind of incident? Volkov's people. They've made a move. We need to get you to the safe room. We're halfway down the hall when I hear it. Gunfire. Sophia pulls me toward a hidden door. But before we reach it, men appear. Men I don't recognize. Armed. Then Moretti appears from a side hallway, and everything happens at once. He's faster than should be possible. Moves with lethal precision. This isn't the art collector. This is the predator beneath. He reaches us, putting himself between the intruders and me. More of his security team arrives. Get her to the safe room, Moretti orders. Now. Sophia pulls me through the hidden door. Behind us, gunfire, shouting, violence. The safe room has reinforced walls, security monitors. On the monitors, I can see men fighting, Moretti moving through rooms with cold efficiency. And then I see him take a hit, his shoulder jerking back. My heart stops. He's been shot, I whisper. He'll be fine. Mr. Moretti has survived worse. But I can't tear my eyes away, watching him continue fighting despite the wound. Watching blood stain his white shirt. It feels like hours, but is probably less than 20 minutes before the all clear comes. I find Moretti in his study, Vincent wrapping his shoulder while he issues orders. His shirt is soaked with blood, his face pale. He sees me and ends his call. Sage. I cross to him without thinking, my hands reaching for his face. You were shot. Flesh wound. Bullet went through. Are you hurt? No. Sophia got me to the safe room. My hands tremble against his face. You could have been killed. But I wasn't. And more importantly, you're safe. Vincent steps back. Sir, we need to move you to the medical facility. In a moment. I need you to understand something. This is what I meant about risks. This is the reality of my world. Is it over? For now, that gives us breathing room. Us. I said it. Not you. Us. His eyes darken. Yes, us. His hand moves from my wrist to my face. You were terrified, but you didn't fall apart. I thought you were going to die. I whisper. Watching you on that monitor, seeing you get shot. But I didn't. And I won't. Not when I have. Something worth surviving for. He's not just talking about his empire. He's talking about me. After Moretti leaves with Vincent for medical attention, I wait in his study, surrounded by his things. When he returns hours later, his shoulder properly bandaged, he pours 2 glasses of whiskey and sits beside me. I owe you an apology for underestimating how aggressively Volkov would move. When I saw those men in the hallway, heading toward where you were, he breaks off, something raw crossing his face. You what? I've done terrible things in my life, but the thought of them reaching you, that was worse than anything I've faced. All my defenses crumble. I was terrified, watching you on those monitors. It made me realize that somewhere in the last 3 weeks, this stopped being just a job, that I care what happens to you, even though I shouldn't. Moretti reaches for my hand. I've been falling for you since the moment you slapped me. Every day since has only made it worse. I know I shouldn't want you the way I do, but I'm done pretending. Dante, you don't have to say anything. I'm not done. I tighten my grip. I don't want to pretend anymore. Watching you almost die made me realize that hiding from this is just another kind of prison. He rises slowly, mindful of his injury, and pulls me to my feet. His hand cups my face. Tell me to stop. Tell me you don't want this, and I'll step back. I can't. I can't tell you to stop because I don't want you to. His kiss is everything I didn't know I needed, gentle but intense. His mouth moves against mine with careful passion. When we break apart, both breathing hard, he rests his forehead against mine. This changes everything. I know, and I'm choosing it anyway. Then let me do this right. Let me court you properly, not just through coercion. Court me? Take you to dinner. Not as my employee, but as someone I'm falling in love with. Love, he said love. It's too soon for that. Perhaps, or perhaps when you know. His hand slides into my hair. I'm not asking you to say it back. I'm just asking you to give us a chance. I should say no, but looking into his eyes, remembering the terror of thinking I might lose him, I nod. One chance. But if this becomes toxic or dangerous beyond what I can handle, I walk away. Agreed, though I intend to ensure you never want to walk away. He kisses me again, slower this time, sweeter, and as I sink into it, I wonder if I've just made the best decision or the worst. But for now, wrapped in his arms, I choose to believe in the possibility of something real, even if that something is as dangerous as the man holding me. The next 3 months transform everything. Dante keeps his word about courting me properly. Dinners where we talk for hours, walks through the gardens at sunset, Quiet mornings working side by side. We attend gallery openings and auctions. His hand at my back now feeling natural. I acquire 3 significant pieces for his collection. Mara visits twice, her eyes tracking the changes in me. You look happy. Tell me you're not actually falling for him. It's complicated. He's a criminal who forced you into this arrangement. This isn't real. Her words echo for days. But then Dante brings me coffee exactly how I like it. Remembers details from weeks ago. Looks at me like I'm the most fascinating person he's ever encountered. 4 months in, everything shifts. I'm in the archive when Dante enters, expression serious. We need to talk. My stomach tightens. What's wrong? I've been working with federal prosecutors for the past 6 weeks, building a case against several organizations, including Volkov's operation. I stare at him. You're cooperating with law enforcement? I'm making a deal. Testimony against criminal enterprises in exchange for immunity. You're turning on your own world? I'm choosing a different path forward. His hand finds my face. You asked me once why art matters so much. The truth is, you're the first thing that's made me want to be better. In 2 months, our arrangement ends. And I don't want you walking away because you can't reconcile who I am with who you need me to be. Tears burn behind my eyes. You're doing this because of me? Because of us. I want a life where you can be with me without moral compromise. That's not a small thing you're offering up. Is worth less than nothing if it costs me you. His voice is fierce. I've spent 15 years building criminal enterprises. I can spend the next 15 building something legitimate. What does this mean, practically? It means I testify. It means the next few weeks will be dangerous. More dangerous than the Volkov attack. How dangerous? Dangerous enough that I need you to leave. Go to your parents in Charlotte until this is resolved. No. Sage. No. You don't get to make this sacrifice and then push me away. I'm staying. His arms wrap around me. You're either very brave or very foolish. Probably both. When does the testimony begin? 2 weeks. The prosecutors want you to testify as well. About the night at Apex. About understanding the nature of my businesses. You don't have to. I think about Mara. About the women trafficked through operations Dante once had connections to. I'll testify. If it helps put away people who hurt others, I'll do it. His kiss is fierce, grateful. I don't deserve you. But you're stuck with me anyway. The next 2 weeks are intense. Lawyers, depositions, security briefings. Vincent becomes my constant shadow. 1 week before the trial, I wake to find Dante on the terrace. I wrap my arms around him from behind. Thinking about what comes next, he says. After the trial, what our lives look like, hopefully quieter. I've been thinking about the arrangement. Our 6 months end in 2 weeks. My stomach clenches. I know. I want to renegotiate. I want forever, Sage. Not 6 months. I want you to. Stay because you choose to. Because you love me as much as I love you. You love me. Desperately. Completely. But I need to know if you feel the same, or if what we have is just a product of circumstances. You think I'm here out of obligation? Something fierce rises in my chest. I love you, Dante Moretti. Not because you forced me into this or because you're wealthy. I love you because you look at art with passion. Because you remember how I take my coffee. Because you're trying to become a better man. I love you because when I imagine my life after this ends, the only future that doesn't feel empty is one with you in it. His kisses answer and question. When we break apart, he says, after the trial, I'm asking you to marry me, just so you know. I laugh. That's the least romantic proposal warning ever. I'm working on the actual proposal, but I needed you to know. I'm fighting for a future where I get to wake up next to you every morning. Then we'd better make sure we both survive. 3 days before the trial, the first attempt comes. I'm in the garden when the gunshot cracks. Vincent throws himself over me as more shots follow. Security swarms. Dante appears, fury and fear warring on his face. Status? Sniper. Miss Mitchell is unharmed. Dante drops beside me, hands checking for injuries. You're okay? I'm fine. Someone just tried to kill me. To send a message. To tell me that cooperation has consequences. Over the next hour, we learn the sniper was a hired contractor. You need to leave, Dante says. Tonight, Vincent will take you to a safe house. No. I'm seeing this through. We argue until he capitulates with conditions. I stay in the house. No more exposure. And if there's another attempt, I go without argument. That night, he holds me tighter. I can't lose you. Everything else I can survive. But not losing you. You won't. We're going to get through this. The trial begins on a Monday. The courthouse is heavily secured. Dante testifies for 3 days, exposing everything he once protected. On Thursday, it's my turn. I testify about the night at Apex, about witnessing the debt collection, about understanding the nature of his businesses. Friday, the final day, everything falls apart. I'm leaving the courthouse with Vincent when the car bomb detonates. Not our car, but the one next to ours. The explosion throws me to the ground. Vincent covers me as debris rains down. We emerge to find Dante held back by marshals, his face a mask of terror. Sage! I run to him. My legs aren't working properly. Vincent catches me as I stumble. I'm okay. Just cuts from the glass. The next hours blur. Paramedics, police, federal agents. The courthouse evacuated, trial postponed. We end up in a federal safe house. Dante refuses to leave my side. This is my fault, he says once we're alone. Everything you've endured is because of me. It's because of choices you're making now to change. I grab his face. Loving you has. It's shown me what I'm capable of, has given me purpose, has made me stronger. Yes, it's dangerous, but I've also been more alive these past 5 months than in the entire previous 26 years. You want to protect me? Fine, but don't protect me by pushing me away. His kiss is desperate, grateful. After the verdict, I'm taking you somewhere safe and not letting you out of my sight. The trial resumes in a different courthouse with enhanced security. Closing arguments take 2 days, then the jury deliberates for 4 agonizing days. On Friday afternoon, the call comes. They have a verdict. In the courtroom, Dante sits at the prosecution's table while I'm in the gallery with Vincent. The defendants file in. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. On count 1, we find the defendants guilty. On count 2, guilty. On count 3, guilty. Guilty verdict after guilty verdict. Racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy, human trafficking. Through it all, Dante remains still. But when he finally turns to look at me, I see it. Relief. Hope. Outside, federal prosecutors hold a press conference. They carefully don't name Dante, but everyone knows who testified. We need to leave the country, Vincent says. Mr. Moretti has enemies who will want retribution. I'm not going into witness protection, Dante says. I've earned immunity. But Sage is getting on a plane tonight, somewhere far from Miami until things settle. I start to protest, but he silences me. Please, you've stood beside me, but now I need you to be safe while I handle the aftermath. 2 months. Then you come home to a life where I'm no longer looking over my shoulder. 2 months, maximum. And you check in every day. Deal. That night, Vincent drives me to the airport. Our goodbye is wrenching. I love you, Dante says, holding me tight. More than I thought I was capable of. I love you too. Come back to me. Always. 6 weeks of waiting in Charlotte. 6 weeks of daily calls from Dante. 2 more weeks. I'm consolidating the legitimate businesses. There have been some threats, but nothing Vincent can't handle. During week 5, Mara visits. You're different. Harder somehow, but also more certain. I've been through things I never imagined. Are you happy? Yes. Terrified sometimes, but yes, fundamentally happy. Because of him. Because of who I've become. At the 6-week mark, Dante calls. It's done. Everything's settled. Come home. Are you sure it's safe? As safe as it's going to be, and I need you here. I book a flight for the next morning. When I emerge from the terminal, Dante is there waiting. The moment our eyes meet, every doubt evaporates. He pulls me into his arms. You're home. I'm home. The drive back is familiar and surreal. What happened while I was gone? 3 attempted intimidations. All handled. Some property damage, quickly repaired. Legal maneuvering to ensure my immunity holds. He glances at me. And I've been working on something I want to show you. At the mansion, I notice changes. Several pieces from his collection are gone. I sold them. The pieces with questionable provenance. The proceeds went to organizations that fight human trafficking. That must have been significant. 18 million. Blood money. Better used to undo some harm. I stop, turning to face him. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. If I'm building a new life, It needs a clean foundation. Tears burn. I love you. I love you too. And I have something to show you. He leads me to a wing I haven't seen. When he opens the door, I gasp. It's a gallery. A proper gallery. And covering the walls are my photographs. I had Vincent collect everything from your storage unit. I want you to have a show. A real one. I've been speaking with curators. They're interested. This is incredible. This is you getting the career you deserved. And before you argue about charity, I showed them your work without my name attached. They wanted you based purely on merit. I turn in his arms, overwhelmed. I don't know what to say. Say you'll stay, not because of our arrangement, but because this is where you want to be. The 6 months ended 2 weeks ago, which means you staying now would be entirely your choice. Yes, I'll stay. Yes to all of it. His kiss is relief and joy. When we break apart, he says, I have one more thing. He pulls out a small box. My heart stops. I know I warned you this was coming. I know we've only been together for 5 months. He opens the box to reveal a ring. I also know that proposing to someone you initially blackmailed is probably the least romantic thing possible. I laugh through tears. But I'm asking anyway. Sage Mitchell, will you marry me? Will you build this new life with me? Yes, absolutely yes. He slides the ring onto my finger. There's one more thing. He shows me an email. I've been accepted to the University of Miami's graduate program in art history. I stare at him. You're getting a degree? I've been running a collection worth hundreds of millions based on knowledge I taught myself. I want to do it properly, and I want to be worthy of being your partner. Not just financially, but intellectually. You're already worthy, but I love that you want to learn. That night, lying in bed, we talk about the future. The gallery show, his graduate program, the legitimate business empire. Do you have any regrets? About testifying? About everything you gave up? None. I got you in exchange. That's the best deal I've ever made. Even though I slapped you? Especially because of that. That slap was the best thing that ever happened to me. 18 months later, the gallery in Wynwood is packed. My first major solo exhibition. Transitions. Finding light in shadow. Dante stands beside me in a perfectly tailored suit. We've been married for 6 months, though we keep it private. This one's my favorite, he says. Stopping before a photograph of the mansion at dawn. It's hopeful. That's what I was going for. Hope in unexpected places. Patricia approaches. 3 pieces sold in the first hour. I told you the work would speak for itself. Mara approaches with her new boyfriend. The show is incredible. I'm so proud of you. After she moves away, I notice Vincent near the entrance, still playing security. Some habits are hard to break. Do you miss it? I ask Dante. The power? All of it? He considers. Sometimes I miss the simplicity. But then I remember what I have now. You. A career that doesn't require moral compromise. And no, I don't miss it. Not even a little. Liar. You miss it at least a little. Maybe 5%. But 95% of me is grateful to be here instead of there. I can live with those odds. As evening winds down, we stand before the final photograph. 2 shadows on a wall, distinct but overlapping. You and me, Dante says softly. Before and after. 2 lives that collided and created something neither of us expected. Thank you for slapping me that night. For being brave enough to challenge me. For seeing past what I was, to what I could become. For loving me when I didn't deserve it. Thank you for keeping your promises. For protecting Mara. For giving me 6 months that turned into forever. We should head home. Heat curls through me. Then let's go home. As we drive back to Star Island, I think about the girl I was 18 months ago. Exhausted, broke, serving drinks. That girl would never recognize the woman I've become. Confident, successful, loved by a man who's proven he'll do anything to keep his promises. What are you thinking? Dante asks. That I wouldn't change anything. Every terrifying moment, every difficult choice. It all led here, and I wouldn't trade here for any safer alternative. Even though I blackmailed you, even though you blackmailed me. It's honest. And isn't that what matters? It is. Honesty. About who we were, who we are, and who we're becoming together. We arrive home. We moved into the main bedroom months ago. Dante's study has become our study. The archive room houses both his collection and my portfolio pieces. We've built something together that's stronger than either of us alone. That night, lying in bed with his arms around me, I say, Thank you for tonight, for everything. Thank you for saying yes. 6 months turned into forever, just like I promised. Just like you promised. Outside, Miami glitters with its usual chaos. But here, in this room, there's peace. The kind of peace that comes from surviving storms together and choosing to build something beautiful. I slapped a Mafia boss to protect my friend. He smiled and promised me the world. Against all odds, he kept that promise. And I found everything I never knew I was looking for. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now, I think. You'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.